What's happening, Bills Mafia? Ryan Thomas here, back for a back-to-back edition of the Thomas Take Sports podcast. I told you guys last week I was going to have multiple guests on game day, Saturday tonight, 8:15. We know what time we'll be watching that Buffalo Bills game tonight. The Bills and Ravens AFC divisional round. I got Akeem Richens of Built in Buffalo. Thanks for joining me, Akeem.
Hey, Mr. Ryan Thomas, I really appreciate you having me on. I enjoy all your shows. I enjoy all your content, and it's a blessing, man. I'm excited. It's time. 8:15 is around the corner. I'm excited.
I appreciate the kind words as always. I've hopped on your show. Now you're on my turf, so I'm going to be hitting you with some questions this time around.
Nice.
Unlike last time, you were hitting me with the questions.
Yes,
So
sir.
first off, as we dive into this game, I know you're excited for this game, as am I. Where does this game rank for you in terms of your excitement level and your Bills fandom history? Is this one ranking, at the tippy top?
Well, it's been uh over 20 years, 25 years since the Buffalo Bills made the Super Bowl, and I was a kid when we went to those four Super Bowl appearances. And I know I was excited them times, but being in my adult stages of life right now, this game coming up tonight is the most exciting game that I've ever been a part of as a Buffalo Bills fan.
I agree. There's just something about the aftermath of last week, getting that proverbial monkey off Josh Allen's back, getting that first playoff win, and now that we, got that tossed aside, we have, I think, Akeem, the toughest opponent that we faced all season long. I want your take on these Buffalo Bills against these Baltimore Ravens. I want your take on the Ravens. Do you see this team as the toughest test that the Bills have faced all season long?
Yes. No question about that. I mean, even the Baltimore Ravens can possibly be a tougher matchup than the Kansas City Chiefs, just because of the matchup they present. The Buffalo Bills, we struggle in the run game.
Mhm.
Last time we lost to the Arizona Cardinals, we gave up 217 rushing yards. Kyle Murray, Chase Edmonds, and Drake, all three of them went off, and the Baltimore Ravens carry a similar style of play. But I believe the Baltimore Ravens are the best running team in football since the 1970s. And with the weakness that we possess this year, is definitely a cause for concern for our Buffalo Bills. So that is the most important thing, in my opinion, that we have to patch up and we have to work on throughout the game is containing Lamar Jackson and the rest of the Baltimore Ravens running game.
Yeah, and the Ravens running game, you got Gus Edwards. J.K. Dobbins has been one of the hottest running backs in the NFL. He's got, seven straight touchdowns in 7 straight weeks. Mark Ingram is always a force. I don't really know what the status is on Mark Ingram for this one. I know he's been banged up throughout the season, but they're saying that he's as healthy as he's been all season long. So that's something to keep our eye on.
When you
Um,
have Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, there's no need for Ingram, and that is crazy
that's a
because
great point.
Ingram is an above average running back in this NFL, and the fact that the Baltimore Ravens do not need him, it's scary.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, the most dynamic quarterback arguably in the league, Lamar Jackson. I want to know, Akeem, what impresses you the most about Lamar Jackson and his game?
The most impressive thing about Lamar Jackson in his game is he has modernized the NFL game. Back in the past, we've had other athletic quarterbacks in this NFL. We've had other
Mhm.
quarterbacks in college that was scrambling quarterbacks and had to transition over to the NFL and change positions. But Lamar Jackson doesn't have to do that. We're talking about the most athletic specimen in the history of the NFL playing quarterback, and because he is that athletic, he can use his run to set up his pass. He's not like Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have to have that pinpoint accuracy because of his special athletic ability, and because of his his running ability, he can definitely open up some passing lanes in the pass game.
Is this the toughest test, though, on the Ravens? Is stopping Lamar the toughest test for this Buffalo Bills team, or do you think the run game is the tougher test? Out of the
Uh,
two, which one would you weigh as more important to this Bills defense?
Oh man, I think it's a entire collection. I think that you
Mhm.
you cannot ignore J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and you can't ignore Lamar Jackson because if you ignore any of these guys, the other person is going to beat you. So
Right.
the running game in its totality must be watched and must be contained.
Yeah, I like it. And then as well, I think that this run game and Lamar, that's the story of this Ravens team this year. But I got to give a shout out to Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, the law firm in Baltimore, as the D back unit. There are probably, I think, for my money in the National Football League, there are no two corners that are more physical on one team than Humphrey and Peters. I know that there's some good tandems in this league, but I've been very impressed with Marlon Humphrey as well as Marcus Peters. How do you see the Buffalo Bills attacking Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters in this game?
Uh, Carefully. We
Mm-hmm.
have to be very careful with these guys. I know that Marcus Peters, he sometimes get beats in double moves and certain routes that guys run. But these guys are very good cover cornerbacks, and Josh Allen has to show that pinpoint accuracy against these two corners in particular because these corners, there are plays to be had. But if you make a mistake, these ball hawking corners are going to make you pay. So we definitely have to be aware, and we definitely have to know who we're facing, know our opponent, and understand that these two cornerbacks are ball hawking cornerbacks.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think keeping things safe, I'd like to see initially early, I'd like to see Buffalo test this secondary via deep ball just to test it, just to throw it out there, let them know that we're not afraid. But I would like to see a more methodical offensive approach in this game, and I think we will see that because this is a very tough game. I see the first half being a very close, methodical first half by both teams, and then the second half potentially could be one of the more higher scoring second halves of a game all season long. How do you see the flow of this game kind of shaping out?
Just like a heavyweight title fight.
Mm-hmm.
The first couple of rounds, you want to get an idea, you want to get a sense of what your opponent is doing. And once you get an idea and a sense of what your opponent is doing, you're going to make your necessary adjustments. So I feel that our Buffalo Bills, we're going to fill out our opponent. We're going to see what the defense is giving us. We're going to see what they're doing offensively, and then we're going to take it from there. We're going to make our adjustments as the game goes along, and we're going to see what the Baltimore Ravens gives us on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Because the Indianapolis Colts, they did an excellent job trying to take away the pass, and they were successful stopping the run with four down linemen. So we're going to see what happens stylistically in this game.
I hope that we are a very physical team in this one, knowing what's at stake, knowing that it's win in advance to the AFC Championship game against either Cleveland or Kansas City, lose and go home. I want to see this defense be very physical today of the Buffalo Bills. I want to see this Buffalo Bills offense actually be very physical. And there's a guy that I know you appreciate on this offense. You've given him some shout outs as far as a immediate impact player. It's not Stephon Diggs. That's the easy one. But I think the
Yep.
guy that deserves a lot of due is Gabriel Davis. What's your take on this rookie wide receiver that is somewhat taken this Bills team by storm? I know I didn't expect Gabriel Davis to have the rookie season that he has had, and I'm thankful that he has had that season. What is your take on Gabriel Davis?
I think Gabriel Davis is having a remarkable season. I think he's taken advantage of everything that's in front of him. Having a guy like Stephon Diggs as a number one receiver, having a guy like Cole Beasley in the slot. Gabriel Davis is now the third receiver on the Buffalo Bills, but his talent as a talented receiver, he's a high end number two receiver.
I
So
agree.
when
Yep.
he's when we're putting him out as our third receiver going up against the opposing team's third cornerback, in my opinion, that's a mismatch that we would want to go to, and that's definitely something that we may have to go to today because you alluded to these great cornerbacks that the Baltimore Ravens possess in Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey.
Right. And how do you attack this Ravens offense? I mean, on one hand, I would love to see Buffalo bring the heat and bring the pressure, but on another, Lamar is such a dynamic athlete. I think he is the most exciting quarterback in the league since the days of Mike Vick and Aaron McNair, guys that had that shake and bake style that could turn a run 40 yards up the center of the field. We've seen Lamar Jackson do that. He'll look. If there's nothing there, he'll just run up the center of the field for 40 yards. Not
Yeah.
many quarterbacks can do that. Do you blitz Lamar Jackson or do you keep him at bay and allow him to survey the field and force him to make a mistake in coverage?
And I hate the terminology, but we have to try to make Lamar Jackson be a quarterback. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we have to try to contain that pocket. First of all, everybody needs to do their job. No hero ball. We don't need nobody peeking in the backfield if your job is outside containment. We're gonna trust that all our guys do their job in stopping Lamar Jackson, and that's uh through outside containment. That's through if we have to run quarterback spies throughout the game, because I noticed in Tennessee Titans last week, and that 40-yard play, that
Right.
touchdown, they got burned because they was playing man coverage. They didn't have a spy out there. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would like to have a spy out there on Lamar Jackson. And even if we do everything right, it doesn't mean we're going to make the play. Lamar
Right.
Jackson is that talented, but coaching wise, we want to make sure that our players are in the proper position to attempt to at least make the play.
Yeah, and it goes back to when I did the show with Dave. Shout out to Dave Myers, Built in Buffalo, all those guys that are a part of your network. When they had me on, I hate using that terminology because it sounds like a slight. It sounds like we're saying
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson isn't a good quarterback. No, that's not the case. Lamar Jackson's a solid quarterback in this league. He wouldn't be where he is and achieve what he has achieved if he wasn't. But I think that a lot of teams have somewhat allowed Lamar Jackson to be Lamar Jackson. And the
Hmm.
teams that haven't have taken Lamar out of his comfort zone. And it goes with any quarterback. If you pressure Tom Brady, he's not going to have a good day. If
Right.
you cover the receivers of the Colts back in Peyton Manning's day, the Harrisons and the Reggie Waynes, Manning wasn't going to have a good day. So it goes to it's just dynamics of the strengths and weaknesses of any player. If we force Lamar to survey the field, I think this Bills defense could create some turnovers in this one. What do you say to that with Trey White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer? I think this secondary is due for an elite day. Could tonight be the night?
Most definitely. Tonight can definitely be the night. Once again, I think Lamar Jackson is an excellent quarterback. He just goes about it differently.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, our Buffalo Bills defense have to make him predictable. Let's make him a predictable drop back quarterback, because I don't think he's a pure drop back passer. Lamar Jackson is dangerous as a passer when he's using his legs. So if we can do what we have to do defensively in taking away the run aspect of Lamar Jackson and make him become a pure pocket passer, I think we can have an advantage that way, especially if our offense is putting up points, because our offense could be our best defense in this game as well.
As far as the game script goes, too, like Buffalo wins the coin toss, or let's say they lose the coin toss, the Ravens get the ball first or take the ball. Uh, Buffalo's first possession, we'll just say offensively, no matter how it happens, whether it's early or whatever, however it goes down, Buffalo, I think, has to come out guns blazing to start this game off. They can't get off to a slow start like they did against Indy, because this
Mhm.
Ravens team is far more dynamic than the Colts. And even in saying that, the Colts played us very well. They were able to manage the clock. They were able to keep our offense off the field. What do you say to that? In terms of your expectations for this opening drive? The Bills, they have to come out of the gates hot, right?
And we have to. We have to, especially if we get the ball first, because it seems like I noticed Josh Allen the last time we won a coin toss, he was real ecstatic about it. I see he
Mhm.
doesn't win a lot of coin toss in for the opening drive, but
Right.
if we lose and we start on offense, we got to come out. We have to come out guns blazing. Hopefully, we start at least the 25-yard line, because I think field position last week played a role in certain struggles offensively. Hopefully, we could start at least at the 25-yard line and go to work. We have to put the pressure, we have to be aggressive, and we have to take it to these Baltimore Ravens.
How do you see the rest of this AFC? And I know that this show is a preview for the Bills and Ravens. And before we get into the score predictions, just to set the tone for everyone watching the show, um, the Chiefs and Browns play tomorrow, and whoever wins this game tonight will play the Chiefs or the Browns. How do you see that game shaking out? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. I like to do a little bit of around the NFL
Nice.
on this show as well.
Of course. Nice, nice, man. I love it. I think the Cleveland Browns have a legitimate chance to win this game. Everybody talks about the Buffalo Bills, and us as fans talk about we are not the same old Bills. Well, guess what? That is not the same old Cleveland Browns. That Cleveland Browns team is the
Mm.
best offensive line, in my opinion, in football. They're tough, they're physical. They got two very good runners. Kareem Hunt, I'm pretty sure, has been looking forward to this game, and they have confidence. And one thing about confidence is confidence can make you play a lot better than you actually are. And I think the Cleveland
Yeah,
Browns are a
yeah.
very confident football team right now. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs is going to come out sluggish, being a week off. And I think all of them things play a factor. And because of that, Cleveland has a legitimate chance.
I think they do too. And you think of what could be the key to that game, right? What could be the factor that puts Pat Mahomes off the field, and it is that Cleveland Browns run game. I mean, if any run game is going to keep Pat Mahomes off the field and control the clock and wear down the Chiefs defense, which has shown previously that they're somewhat suspect. I mean, this season they've been a lot better, but the previous seasons, even last year, their defense, even though they won the Super Bowl, their defense wasn't really anything to write home about. Buffalo's was
Right,
far better than theirs, I think.
right.
So Chubb is one of the best running backs, I think, between the tackles. Kareem Hunt was one of the best running backs in Kansas City in the league at that time. Goes to Cleveland for all the reasons that we know, but he's fit in Cleveland like a glove. And I think that the Browns do have a solid shot to win this game. I'm with you. I haven't really discussed it yet on the show, and I wanted your take on that. So it could potentially, if things go according to plan, the Bills win tonight, Browns win tomorrow.
Yeah.
That means the Bills would host an AFC championship game. And I don't know about you, but I'd feel pretty confident.
Oh man, how awesome would that be? How awesome would that
Yeah.
be for the Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns to face off to go to the Super Bowl? Other NFL fan bases would be sick.
I would actually be able to unite with a Cleveland fan for once and be like, finally, we did it, man. We never
Nice.
thought we'd be here, Like, that'd be pretty cool. Cleveland's
Yeah.
a lot like Buffalo.
Yep.
So I want to get your score prediction for this game. How do you see this one going down?
The Buffalo Ravens game.
Yeah, Bills Ravens game. Yeah.
Bills Ravens game. Of course, I'm gonna go Buffalo Bills. I think that uh we have to play out of our minds. We have to play the best game we've played all season long, and I think we will. I think our defense will be up to the challenge. I see Milano put up they put up Milano's quotations this week of being confident to contain Lamar Jackson. I hope he is accurate in his assessment.
Me
Uh,
too.
and and I think our defense and Sean McDermott will come up with a game plan to contain Lamar Jackson. Our offense will do its job and score points through the air, and I think the ground game will get going a little bit surprisingly as well. 31-27, Buffalo
31
Bills
20. I
over
love
the
it. I love
Baltimore
it.
Ravens.
You touched on something pretty awesome there as far as your expectations for this Buffalo Bills ground game. And this Buffalo Bills ground game has shaken some things up these last few days. Obviously, Devonta Freeman signs with the Bills. He's practiced with the first team leading up to this game. TJ Yeldon looks to be activated in this one. So
Mhm.
most likely, I don't know how many running backs are going to carry into this game, but we'll see some different faces tonight in terms of the running game. Who do you see as one of those new guys that can really show up and show out in this one?
TJ Yeldon. TJ
Okay.
Yeldon, TJ Yeldon's a handyman special. He
Mhm.
doesn't do nothing particularly great, but he does everything rather well. He can run between the tackles. First of all, he's 6'1", 220 pounds. He can run between the
Big,
tackles.
big guy.
He could be a receiver out the backfield, and he understands defenses and understands how to pick up blitz packages in the pass protection. So I think TJ Yeldon has a chance to really come off the bench cold all season, come into this playoff game and contribute for the Buffalo Bills.
I like it. He doesn't do one thing particularly great, but he does
Mhm.
everything pretty good. And that's why he's had the career that he's had. I like him as a pass blocker. And that's something that I've noticed with this Buffalo Bills offense that has given them some trouble. Last week against Indy, they moved backwards at first and 10, third and 33 in the blink of an eye. And you watch that drive again, and Josh Allen's in an empty set without a running back blocking for him. I think you need that running back next to him, whether it shows that the Bills are going to, be in a passing formation and hand it off, or whether it shows that Buffalo's going to spread things out to have that running back there to block for Allen. I think is very important, and Yeldon is probably the best version of that back on this team. So I like it. I like that pick. Um, as far as another player on the defensive side of the ball, who do you see standing out tonight as a takeover player, as I like to call it, on the defensive side of the ball for the Buffalo Bills?
Man, I think Tremaine Edmonds has to play big. Tremaine Edmonds, he's the middle linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be watching out for running backs out the backfield. He's going to be watching out for Mark Andrews making plays up the seam. You have to watch out for Lamar Jackson. You have to watch out for the running game. Tremaine Edmonds on the defensive side of the ball has to play the game of his life, in my opinion. Uh,
Oh man, that's a great take because throughout this season, Edmonds has been fair. It's been pretty good, and then there's been games where he has been elite. And I thought a few weeks back when they're going on that stretch, San Fran, Pittsburgh, Denver, he played lights out in those games. If that version of Tremaine Edmonds can show up against the Baltimore Ravens, man, he should have a great day, great
yeah,
night, I should say. Um, but yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a close game. You got 31-27. I got 34-31. And my prediction
nice.
is Buffalo is actually going to be down in this game. And Josh Allen's going to lead another patented Josh Allen comeback. And the rookie Gabe Davis is going to get the game winner. That's how I
N-
see it.
Nice. I like
What do
that
you-
hot take.
That's a hot take. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's
As
a good
far
one.
as the story that is circulating as well. I want to end the show with this because I'm getting a lot of questions about it, people commenting about it on Twitter and things like that. It appears as if there's a report that Brian Dable is the odds-on, hands-on favorite to land the LA Chargers head coaching position. Whether it does happen or whether it doesn't happen, how do you think that could potentially affect the Buffalo Bills if I should say, if Dable does leave? Do you think it'll affect them much next year?
You know what? I think it would be a learning curve in the beginning of the season, right? We're
Mhm.
going to see what happens with the rest of this pandemic. We're going to see what happens in the off-season OTAs, what these NFL players could and can't do. But I think there will definitely be a learning curve if we have another offensive mind coming into the organization to control the play calling duties. But at the same time, we have the culture, we have the foundation, we have a lot of smart guys in place in one Bills drive. So I think after that learning curve, I think the Buffalo Bills offense, I think we'll be okay, man. I think we'll be okay. See what I see this as the best job, offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills in the NFL. That's not a head coaching job. That's what that
Right.
position would be if Brian Dable is in fact going to the Chargers.
I agree. And it's a very tough decision if you're Brian Dable because you only have 31 cracks at a head coaching job, and you have to weigh the odds of which one is the better job. Obviously, the Chargers' job is far better than, let's say, the Jets' job. And the Jets' job was filled, the Falcons' job was filled, Jaguars' job was filled. So the opportunities are somewhat dwindling for Dable. And he's still got a really good opportunity out there, probably the best opportunity, arguably, with the LA Chargers with Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry. I mean, they're very loaded, and I think that offense that Dable has been able to implement here in Buffalo, the spread out, somewhat West Coast offense that we've seen, I think would bode very well for a quarterback like Justin Herbert. And with or without you, Brian Dable, this season he's turned his career around, and it could lead him
Yeah,
to a head coaching opportunity. And I agree with you that this Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator position would be the most sought after offensive coordinator spot in the NFL, and the Bills won't be lacking in terms of demand. They'll be in high demand from a
yeah.
lot of these offensive coordinator coaches. So I agree with you, man. I'm really looking forward to this game. It was a pleasure having you on the show, Akeem. glad we could finally make it happen. And keep up the great work, man. Thanks for the time. I really appreciate it.
Ryan Thomas, man, you keep up the great work, man. I enjoy your show. I enjoy your work, and every time I'm not working, I'm looking at your work. So
Oh, that's awesome. Same
I
here.
appreciate
Isn't
you.
that isn't that something, man? When you're on, I'm watching you. When I'm on, you're watching me. And now, we're on the same show. That's pretty awesome.
Nice, man. Nice, man.
Let's go Buffalo, man. Stay in touch and keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Till next
Take
time.
care. That was the man, Akeem of Built in Buffalo. Awesome guy. I greatly enjoy all the stuff that they're doing there with the Built in Buffalo network. Dave Myers, Colt Schroeder's been on the show a couple times. It's awesome to get Akeem on. This game is the biggest game, in my opinion, of the last 25 years. And to end the show, regardless as to whether or not the Bills win or lose, no matter what happens, this season's been great. I appreciate the support from the Bills Mafia fan base. And whether you've joined me from Buffalo or hopped on Facebook and liked my page in California or even Ireland or wherever it may be, I appreciate the support. Stay safe, everybody. Let's go, Buffalo. What do we got now? 4 hours and 15 minutes away. I'm very excited. This is going to be a great game. Stay safe, everybody, and take care.